everyone. Good morning, everyone. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Uh, Good morning. All right. Um, I'm here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So please just let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Um, okay. Can you hear me? Great. I see you can hear me on Instagram. Can you hear me on TikTok? Yes. What about Facebook? Facebook, YouTube. All right. Good morning, everyone. And let me introduce myself for those who do not know me. My name is Ifama Odolami. I'm an immigration attorney from the Odolami Law Firm. Our law firm is here in New Jersey. We assist fellow immigrants in getting legal status so that they can stay in the United States without fear of deportation and without fear of family separation. So if you need assistance, please feel free to call us at 973-993-1900. I'm going to repeat that again. It's 973-993-1900. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys today because we have some great news. And I always want to come here and give you guys great news because, we're in the midst of a lot of things happening in immigration, and there's a lot of people who are very anxious and scared, and we want to make sure that people get the true information about what's going on in immigration, because there's a lot of information out there that is not always accurate. So good morning, sweet Tintin. Good. I'm so happy you guys can hear me, because the last couple of times I came on, people on Facebook and YouTube couldn't hear me, but I think that was a problem with my setup, and I hope I have fixed that by now. So guys, I have really great news, right? As I keep telling you guys, don't give up on your American dreams. We're still winning cases. Do not give up on your American dreams. It is harder to win cases, but guess what? It is doable. And for my firm, we haven't had to make that much any changes really, because we've always been very particular about making sure that we're providing the evidence that USCIS is looking for. We've always been very particular with making sure that we're submitting applications that are complete and compelling. So we're just doing what we're doing. But today, this morning, I'm so happy for this client. And I'm happy for her because when I spoke to her during consultation, she had been in this country for about 12, 13 years. She had no pathway. She was living with a partner, a boyfriend who was a US citizen, but just wouldn't file for her. And so when she called me, when she came for her consultation, she was asking, how can I get a green card? I don't have children. I don't have a spouse. I don't have any pathway. And she's been talking to attorneys all these years, for the past 13 years, trying to figure a pathway for herself. And the first time she heard about a pathway called the T visa was when she came to us. Hi, Thomas, nice to meet you. It was the first time she came to our office. That was the first time she heard about a T visa. So I want to talk about this to you guys and to tell you that this woman who for the past 13 years had no hope of getting a green card because she didn't have an American child. She had no children. She didn't have a spouse. Well, she had a boyfriend who had no intentions of filing for her and of marrying her, I guess. They've been living together for 6, 7 years, but he didn't want to get married. So that was that. So what I asked her was, how did you come to the United States? And then she told me the story. And I told her, you know what? You're being trafficked. And that's the thing about T visa. T stands for trafficking. A lot of people don't know that they're being trafficked. It's not a case type that a lot of attorneys really understand because it's very complex, right? So I'm going to tell you her story. Of course, I'm going to tell it in a way that, if you know her, you're not going to know this is her story because of confidentiality issues. So she came into the United States, and many people have this story. So if you have this story, right, give us a call. We can help you, 973-993-1900. So she came into this country because somebody gave her a job offer, right? They told her they needed her to take care of their children, and they were going to, they didn't discuss how much they were going to pay because there was some tragedy involved. So she came to the United States um, with this job offer. As soon as she got here, she realized that what the job offer was actually different from what they told her. They had told her she was going to take care of a certain amount of children. It was double that. Um, she came here, I think for the first month, they didn't even pay her. And when they would pay her, the pay was very sporadic. And when she would complain, they would say, well, you're living here rent free, you're eating our food, we don't have to pay you. And you're not even supposed to be working. So we can call immigration, we can get you deported, we can call the police. And they would threaten her in that manner. And basically, she was doing all the work. She was cooking, she was cleaning, she was taking care of all the kids. The parents of these children would sometimes just leave her for days, and she would be the one taking care of the kids. And she didn't have any time off. They controlled everything about the way she took care of the kids. They controlled the way she cooked for the kids. They didn't like her cooking food from where they were from, which is the kind of food that she knew how to cook. They wanted her to cook the food that was served here in America. And she worked there for maybe a year. Now with T visa, there's no requirement that you work with anybody for any period of time. So just know that. So it was just a really horrible situation. They were also verbally abusive, and a couple of times they were physically abusive. Now, this is her story. Your story may not be the same, but it's still the same thing where somebody offers you a job, you come here, they exploit you because of that job, and they threaten you so that you're afraid to leave. Ultimately, she left because the abuse was, she couldn't take it anymore, and she took off, like left. And so when she told me this story, and we worked through some of the information, and I said to her, this is a trafficking case. This is what we call labor trafficking, right? So you were recruited to come here to the United States. You are still you're a victim of a severe form of trafficking. You're physically present in the United States due to the trafficking. She had to be willing, of course, to let us report the trafficking incident. That's a requirement, but it's not anything to be concerned about. We just have to report it, and she would suffer extreme hardship if she was removed from the United States. So we were able to, we got her declaration where she told her story, and we're able to put the package together with a powerful legal argument with case law. And today, this case has been approved, and my client can now apply for her work permit. Well, typically not work permit, for her green card. Typically with T visas, you can be in the T visa status for 3 years and then you can apply, but sometimes we're able to move it faster. So, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I want you to know that there is hope. There is hope. So a lot of people are afraid to file petitions because they think that it's going to get scrutiny on them. But let me tell you something. It's better to have something filed than nothing, because if you don't have anything and you have a pathway, your lawyers don't have anything to argue for you, right? They don't have anything to argue in your defense. Now, of course, we all know that filing a petition doesn't mean that you're not going to be deported. That's a new thing with this administration. But we need everything we need, we can get to help make powerful arguments on your behalf. So if you talk to an attorney and the attorney tells you that you're eligible for something, right? Get the full story. What are the risks? And then make a decision. But I always tell clients, right? Sometimes you have to take this risk, right? And the risk is worth it, because if you do nothing, nothing changes for you, right? And if nothing changes, you're just like a sitting duck, just sitting there for eyes to come and pick up. So it's important for you to call an attorney, do a proper consultation, figure out if there's a pathway, because I'm going to tell you that most of our T visa clients don't even know that they have a pathway through a T visa. And T visa doesn't stop with getting a T visa through labor trafficking, doesn't stop with um, somebody who employed you. It could be a family member that you live with. It could be your non-citizen spouse. It could be your sibling. It could be a family friend that says, come live with me and, we can take care of you. It could be you coming through the border using the assistance of notarios, and then the smuggling of you into the country now becomes a trafficking where they're forcing you to do work, right, that you're not compensated for. It could be you coming here on actually a visa to work, but your employer is not using that to exploit you, to force you to do stuff, right? And threatening to yank away the visa if you don't do what they want you to do. So T visa is very multifaceted. So you have to talk to an attorney that really understands what the T visa is, okay? So today I'm just talking about the T visa because I wanted to come out here to give you guys this information that cases are still being won all the time because the law gives a pathway as to what is required. And lawyers, when you do a consultation, will let you know, do you qualify? Do you have a strong case? Do you have a weak case? Is there something you should go with? If you don't qualify, my firm will not tell you that you should go ahead and file. We don't file frivolous cases, right? But sometimes you have a case that nobody has ever asked the right questions to be able to determine that there is a pathway. So call our office, 973-993-1900. We're here to assist you. So I'm going to take a couple of questions because I have to go at 11. I have a consultation. So let me go to Facebook. So Marcel Cumberbatch says, I am married and it's 2 years now. I haven't heard anything from immigration. Marcel, are you in the United States? Because if you're in the United States and you filed an I-130 and filed an adjustment of status, you should have heard something. You should have at least gotten a work permit, a travel permit, and probably an interview. So if you haven't heard anything, you should do an e-inquiry. Reach out to them to find out what's going on. Or have you been interviewed and you haven't heard anything from them? So it's something you should look into. Reach out to do an e-inquiry with on the USCIS from your account. You can do that from your USCIS account. You can reach out to your congressman to see if they can assist you guys in checking into the case to see what's going on. Okay. So LLK says, what's the processing time for T visa? It could take anywhere from a couple of years, maybe like 2 years. This case, I don't remember how long it took, but I don't believe probably a year. I think it was a year. This case I'm talking about took a year because we were all surprised when we got the approval. We weren't expecting it. We were thinking it was going to take a little longer. But that's the thing about cases. If you look at the case processing website, it says 80% of these cases are completed at this time, but it could be done earlier, it could be done later. All right. So let me look at Thomas says, hi, madam, I am married and I have a son. I work on cruise lines on a C1D visa. I'm in India right now, and I have not got a call on my present job from the last 1.5 years. What options do I have to travel to US for, say, temporary work visa, and I don't want to stay for long? What are the options for you to get a temporary work visa? So Thomas, you have to have an employer who's willing to file for you. That's what you need to do. So if they file for you, you can get a work visa and you can come here and work, okay? Sweet Tintin says, are we speaking with you during the consultation or your staff? Sweet Tintin, you speak with me. It could be me or any other attorney in the office, and our consultation fee is $200. All right, so let me pull questions from TikTok. All right, hey TikTok, how are you? So let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any questions on TikTok, so I'm gonna move over to Instagram. Maybe TikTok, you have no questions? All right, so I'm going to go to Instagram. Instagram seems to have some questions. And you guys, I'm just kind of scrolling down. So if I miss you, it's not intentional. It's just that as you scroll, sometimes it just pops another question forward. So, so Wanfor says, did she have a work authorization upon arrival? No, she didn't have a work authorization because the president had brought her here to work illegally. Okay. All right, so Sonel Petit says, I made an application I-130 for my daughter since February 2022. USCIS never told me anything about it. Can you help me with that? So Sonel, the I-130, is your daughter in the United States or abroad? Because if she's abroad, sometimes the I-130 take, but 2022, that's 3 years, that's taking a long time. So what I'm going to tell you, same thing I told this guy, do an inquiry, find out what's going on. Look at the case processing website and see how long it's taking for your I-130 to be approved. In my experience, that's a long time. Can I help you? All I would do is do the same thing you can do, which is do an inquiry. Reach out to your congressman. Now, you can also file a lawsuit. That's where we can help you. We can file a lawsuit on your behalf. It's called a writ of mandamus. So if you're interested in that, give us a call, 973-993-1900. All right? And for those that want to know more about filing a lawsuit against the government, we've done that several times. And when we do that, the government has to respond by explaining why the case there's been no response. Typically, the case has to be past processing times. And so every time we've filed a lawsuit, we've been able to get our client's paperwork moved to, a decision made. Now, the decision doesn't have to be what you want, but a decision will be made, okay? All right. So Philofficial says, is it possible as citizens to bring brothers over 20 years in US? Yes, as a US citizen, you can file for your siblings, but let me tell you, that would put them under the F4 category. But let me tell you, it's taken a long time for a visa to become available for siblings. But the best thing to do is to put in an application now so that they can get on the line, okay? But it's taking a long time, but yes, you can do that. All right, let's see. So Ravi Paul says, can you help with interview? We don't help people with B1 interviews. That's not something we do. B1, B2 interviews, okay? But I can tell you that what the Department of State is looking for, the consulate is looking for, is to show that you're going to come and return to the United States, return to your country. When you come to the United States, they want you to return to your country. So you have to show proof that you have ties to your country. You have a job, maybe you have family, you have money to spend when you come here. And even when you give them all that, they can still deny you because B1, B2 visa is discretionary. It's a privilege and not a right. And somebody's asking for my phone number. It's 973-993-1900. 973-993-1900. So somebody here on TikTok asks a really great question. He says, I was granted withholding of removal. Will I still be able to get a green card? So GK, you will not get a green card through withholding of removal. All right. Now, if for any reason you're able to get a pathway, say you have withholding of removal, which means that they cannot remove you, but it doesn't give you a green card, it just gives you a work permit. That's all it gives you. Now, say you now become eligible for some pathway to get a green card. You can get a green card, but it requires you to go back into the court to reopen the case and pursue that pathway. And that can be really complicated. So that's something that you want to talk to an attorney about, because withholding of removal is not a guarantee that they won't reinstate the removal order. So You want to talk to an attorney about that, okay? All right. Let's see what else. I think those are all the questions I'm getting from you guys. So, what time is it now? 10:46. So this was just a quick live because I haven't been on live for a minute now because we are expanding and there's stuff that we're doing, which I will tell you guys at some point, not now, because we're really excited about it. We're going to be able to help more people, but we're not telling you the news right now, but we will. So let me answer a couple more questions. Yetunde Laswell says, can I file for my siblings to come to the United States? If you're a US citizen, yes, and it takes a long time, but you might as well get started. Nicole says, can a 601A waiver be appealed if denied? You know what? Let me see. Have we ever, I don't remember. Have we ever appealed the 601A waiver? I don't know. I don't remember if you can, but typically what we do is we refile it because a lot of times the waiver was denied because it wasn't properly done. And we have a lot of people who have a 601 who come to us with a denied 601 waiver, and we go ahead and we refile it, and it's approved. And we had this client actually who, gosh, I remember that case. He had been in the United States for a very long time, over 20 years, and he had actually no, it was 20 years, yes, but he had been selling CDs, which was illegal because they were fake or something, you know. And so he got into trouble. He was arrested, and his attorney then filed a 601. It was denied. We basically redid it again. We filed again. Because when we read the 601, it was clear that it wasn't very compelling. He had a spouse who had multiple health issues. He was from I think a French-speaking country, so we were able to show that she needed him here. She would suffer extreme hardship if he was not allowed to stay with her. We also showed that she would not be able to thrive in his country because of his health issues, because of the language barrier. She was older, so it was going to be hard for her to get a job, hard for her to learn French, with her multiple health issues. Yeah, so their lawyer had all that information, and it just didn't work when they filed it. So a denied waiver does not mean it cannot be refiled and it's not going to be subsequently won. So we can assist you. Give us a call, 973-993-1900. So somebody here is asking, my sister-in-law has a 3-month visa visiting ASAP. Can the status of her visa be changed from a visiting visa to a religious visa? Only if she has a religious institution that is properly designated as a non-profit that is willing to file for her and give her a job in a religious capacity, right? So if that's, if they have that, they can file, they can get an R1 visa. But there's a lot of requirements, so the best thing for your sister to do is to have the church or the mosque or the religious organization that is interested in hiring her give a lawyer a call so that we can go over, make sure that they would qualify to file for, right? And of course, USCIS will, in approving that, they want to make sure it's not just a petition that was filed to keep her here, that they really want to use her services in their religious institution. Yeah. So let's see. So Mumbe Elizabeth Musioki says, I have filed for my daughter 3 years ago. I have not heard anything from immigration. I'm feeling that this applications are probably consular processing. That's taking a while. And, if it's a consular process, it typically takes different stages. So the I-130 stage is the first stage, which typically you get approved within a year or so, and then you have to move through the NVC stage, and then that can take another year. So, but if your child is here in the United States and your child is under the age of 21, 3 years is a long time. That's not normal. So, like I said to the other people, reach out to USCIS, do an inquiry, call your congressman, see if they can assist you. And if none of them can help, give us a call. We'll file a lawsuit on your behalf, 973-993-1900. So Bibbs says, good evening, can I file for a fiancé visa without going home? And I have a good reason for not going right now. So Bibbs, the first thing is you must be a US citizen to file a fiancé visa. Second thing, you must have seen your fiancé within the past 2 years. And if that's the case, then you can go ahead and file the fiancé visa. Of course, you have to meet other requirements, showing that it's a bona fide relationship and all that good stuff, okay? All right, so I think that's it, guys. It's 10:52. Let me go get ready for my consultation. But it was a pleasure talking to you guys, and have a great weekend. Did you guys hear about, I'm doing a webinar next week. So the information is on Instagram. So check it out. We're going to talk about people who are getting a lot of threats from their family members threatening to call ICE on them, and what you can do, whether you have any pathway as a result of those threats. All right. So check out my Instagram and look and see if you can attend this webinar, because I want to talk to you guys and give you more information as to how you can protect yourself, possibly get yourself a pathway to getting a green card because of this threat. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.